everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is November the 5th of 2028. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Conviction. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Be a 20%er. I'm offended by selling, buying over, crying. Hello, my elite friends, especially my elite friend Henry Law, who brought you guys this show today. We only need $100 for the next one, but we're going to be covering all the big news. Oh, there was a big price drop yesterday, wasn't there? It's been a while, my elite friends, hasn't it? Have we reached the cycle peak? Hey, I'm going to tell you about Function Health also in a few seconds. You guys got to use my affiliate code below. But, all right, over 210,000 blocks now since Bitcoin hit its all-time high in its previous all-time high in 2021. And usually you measure in about 4-year intervals or 210,000 blocks, pound that like button between peaks of the cycle. And we've reached it. And that 126,000 was right around the time of 210,000 blocks since the last all-time high in 2021. So what the heck is going on here? Is the 4-year cycle alive? If the pattern holds, then yeah, the bear has started. Oh my. Well, I'm an optimist. And I really hope that this time it's different. So we're going to talk about why this time is different. And by the way, I tweeted this out a while ago. Follow me on Twitter, TECHBALT. Follow me on Twitter, and you'll retweet it below. Read all those links below so you can retweet what I'm talking about here. Trump has he ruined the macro economy here with his unpredictability to a point where people now want boring, predictable gold? Is that making this different? I mean, one can hope so. One could hope that if the Supreme Court does what it should do and rule these tariffs unconstitutional, gives the investors some predictability, that Bitcoin will get above 126,000. And there's some people who do not really know about the 210,000 block difference. They just base it on 4 years. So we haven't hit 4 years since the all-time high. That'll be November 9th and 10th, which is in 4 freaking days. So maybe that can give you guys some hope that we'll go above 126,000 again. And that the bear market hasn't, and we'll go above 126,000 in the future. I'm just saying the bear market has started if we're doing what we've done all the other times in the 210,000 block cycle. And you have to believe that it's different this time, that it's broken this time, or that people just care about 4 months, which is in 5 days. Pound that like button. Did I say that yet? Now, this time around, what's different? Digital asset treasury companies. We didn't have that craziness last time. We didn't have Ethereum was not proof of stake last time. And yeah, I know you hate Ethereum, but at this point, you got to hope that, when Ethereum hits an all-time high, that's good for Bitcoin. Tom Lee and all these institutional hype around Ethereum that we were hearing a few weeks ago, dude, well, if that can boost the price of Ethereum to an all-time high, it will surely help Bitcoin there. So yeah, and people really desire yield this time. Now again, proof of stake was not in Ethereum last time. And so they're more yield lovers and all that stuff going on. So, okay, I've given you some reasons why it could be different. And these digital asset treasury companies, I would not invest a penny in them. but we didn't have them last time around. Now, remember, if you got questions, I got answers. Do a super chat. Yeah, a lot of you are going to be noticing that I'm going to be looking in a crooked direction. That's because I am looking at and so don't look at my darn face. Look at this beautiful Orioles Bitcoin shirt. You can get it linked to below. Or Baltimore, whatever you want to say. And of course, I'm in Salt Lake City. I found this really nice monitor. So I've got 2 monitors, and one I just found outside, this really big one. So that's what I'm looking at right now while you're seeing this strange angle. And I got to look. It's bigger. It's easier for me to read. 1, 2, 3, no scope is in the house. Good. Pound it, baby. All right. So let's move on with, a lot of you always have my questions about health and all that stuff. Function Health is my latest thing. It costs like $400, $500 a year. You get all these blood tests that you really need to know. You really need to know this type of stuff. Okay. Meister12. Sign up. That is your affiliate code. You don't have to, don't give me, if you can't afford super chats or whatever, it's sending me PayPal. And again, I've got PayPal, adam@tresorhelp.com if you want to send me PayPal. But if you just want to support me and help yourself, sign up, use the affiliate code at Function Health. Okay. I got it. Now I paid a little extra. I got a $900 cancer test or $850,000. I don't know what it was. It's the best one you can get. The blood test, great value. Obviously I'm smiling, so I didn't have cancer according to the blood test. What's it called? Grier or something like that. You probably heard about it. You're like, only rich people get that. Well, yeah, I'm rich and I got it. Pound that like button. I'm enjoying life, but you can get it too. But the other tests that it provides you twice a year is some really good stuff. You can get full body scans, awesome stuff. Now, I'm in Salt Lake City. By the way, I'm going to be back in Baltimore very soon for Thanksgiving. I'll show you all what I bought there, a very special thing I bought there that I'm going to show you that I spent money. As all of you are like, why don't you treat yourself to something really nice? I treated myself to something really nice. I thought it was really nice at least. But I'm also obviously treating myself to this health stuff. And there's stuff I'm doing in Salt Lake City in terms of, that I'm wealthy now and everything like that. So, and I've been posting that stuff on this channel, on my backup channel, on Twitter. Half of this stuff, the stuff I'm doing in Salt Lake City has been totally out in the open. I don't want to talk about it now during the show, but I mean, it's totally out there on Twitter, and there've been news articles about it and whatever. For what I've been doing with here in Salt Lake City. But it has nothing directly to do with Bitcoin. But if it wasn't for Bitcoin, I wouldn't be incredibly rich and couldn't do these things. So now there's great. But anyway, and tomorrow I'm going to speak at the University of Utah, their FinTech Club. Today, 6 p.m., Salt Lake City Bitcoin Meetup. 6 p.m. Salt Lake City time, which is in 3 hours. I'm going to be there. And so maybe some of them are watching now. The Supreme Court heard the tariff case today, and hopefully they will just say that's it. You got Trump. You got to get rid of some of these tariffs here. They're unconstitutional. The market will love it. They will love it. Pray, guys. Pray for them to go bye-bye. Pray for the freaking Congress and the Senate. The easiest thing to do is for them to get some cojones and just say, no, you can't do these. You can't do this. We're in charge here of tariffs. We're getting rid of all of them. And the Democrats would obviously do it. The Republicans should do it. It's silly how it has slowed down our economy. It is completely ridiculous. This tariff stuff. And you're just a blind freaking Trump worshiper if you think this is good for the economy. It's horrible. Absolutely brutal. And yeah, I really hope. And I hope it's not hopium, that's what kept us, that once it's gone, we'll, but I'll tell you one thing. It kept the all-time high lower this time. Definitely kept it lower than it should have been. It should have been above 126. If that's what the peak is this time around, and it just shows you another thing. This is why you don't make these $1 million ridiculous predictions. That is $1 million in 2025. Come on. Take it one step at a time. I always said like 200,000 would be great. 180,000 was with my buddy in OKC was talking about. We were talking 180,000 and stuff like that. And no, we didn't reach it. It looks like maybe we are going to reach it still. Maybe we're going to reach it on November 10th. Maybe it's going to get extended this time because of all this nonsense that's going on because of the government and everything. And and this is another thing. The people with these grand delusions that talk about $1 million Bitcoin, like, sure, it might get there one day. One step at a time. We haven't gotten to 200,000, but they're doing it for clicks most likely. But half of them, they disappear now. If that was the peak, then they're going to disappear. And we'll never hear from half these people again. And there's so many of them that have come and gone through the years. But who's been there? Who's been there? Who's been buying over crying, baby? Who's had the strong hand? You, me. Pound that like button. All right. Now, also now it seems like the people are buying into the government shutdown narrative, that maybe that caused our little bit of a crash yesterday. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it, dudes? $10,000 candle was yesterday down, something like that. I don't know what it was a lot. It was a lot. And people are posting that's the end of the world. But some people are like, maybe it's because the government shut down and people aren't spending money. Some people are buying into that narrative. So if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and when the government shutdown ends, that people all of a sudden think it's good to buy Bitcoin, great. I wish the government shutdown would continue forever. It doesn't bother me at all. None of those people should be working. None of the people should be employed by the government. Completely wasted time. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's hilarious. I just remembered this. I tweeted about this on Twitter. When the Ravens played in Miami last weekend, you hear the Dolphins, they got confused. There was a penalty or something like that, but the Ravens fans were so loud. Now that's weird. Why were there so many Ravens fans in Miami on a Thursday freaking night? Are there a lot of government employees in Baltimore maybe that decided to take their vacation down there? Yeah, they're starving, or maybe it's just because maybe it's a combination of the two things that there's so many people who have moved from the Baltimore area down to Florida. Then they just go to the Ravens game on a Thursday night now. I mean, it just shows you what bad government policies do. They either the tax system in Maryland has clearly driven a lot of people down to Florida, but also the government shutdown lets lazy workers that are from Baltimore and Maryland they'll just go down to Florida and say they're starving or something like that and go to the Ravens game. It'd be so many there that it messed up the Dolphins. All right. I wasn't planning on talking about that. Now, what do we have here? Also, we've heard about the lovely Luke Dash Jr., that guy. And I'm not going to get into all the nonsense with, maybe he will fork Bitcoin off. That actually would have helped the price of Bitcoin, by the way. His fork would fail, it would go the way of Bcash. So I always encourage, I'm a confident decentralist. If people want to, they're scared about certain things about Bitcoin, well, start your own Bitcoin then, okay? Okay, so start your own darn Bitcoin and fork it off, as we say. And that will help. As I was around in 2017 when Bcash started, Bcash plus Bitcoin was worth more than Bitcoin was the day before. It was unbelievable. Like people thought it would take away value from Bitcoin. No. It just made it out of thin air or whatever you want to say. I don't know. Let the market speak, baby. I'm confident in Bitcoin. Luke and his Bitcoin, whatever you want to call them. Calling them, some of those guys, Bitcoin inquisitionists is almost a compliment. And obviously the ones that like to, that are just scapegoaters beyond belief and they might not even own any Bitcoin. They're pathetic. Now, I've always wanted to live in the future. And this is a golden age, guys. We're living in the future. I just was thinking the other day, being a little kid, being in my den in the suburbs of Baltimore, my family's den. You could call it a family room or whatever. And I don't know. I would watch TV shows about the future. And this is really the future. Flat screen computer screens and little computers that are phones. And, oh, man, we should be so happy. Everyone should be so happy. But we got a bunch of complainers out there. So they think it's the end of the world. We're living, that all these bad things keep happening. Well, guess what? there's some bad things that keep happening, and they happen at a very fast rate. But all of the awesome good things happen at even a faster rate now. And we're spoiled brats, and we don't even notice that we're well on our way to insane artificial intelligence. People complain again about ChatGPT. It's not good enough. It's too slow. All these AI models are too slow. They say we didn't even have AI models a year ago. So it's just so awesome to be alive. And Trump and so the news coming out of the Supreme Court today that probably helped pump the price some is Trump administration faced a deeply skeptical Supreme Court in the tariff arguments. Thank God. Thank God. So now we've got talk about people want J.D. Vance to be the next president. They think it's a sure thing. He'll be the Republican nominee. I am a never Vancer guy. I think he's horrible. I think he believes in government interference. He believes in scapegoating. Just that you should grow up in your small town and never have to move, and maybe the government can open a plant for you there and favoring people here, favoring this one. So it's going to create more uncertainty. It's quite fascistic. Trump is just so random. He really doesn't have any core principles, Trump, but J.D. Vance does, and they're bad. They're not good. They're not. Now you'll say, oh, he's got some friends in Silicon Valley. I don't know. He wants to. He is such a populist, which is just a scapegoater. He's on the Tucker side of things, definitely. And, Tucker is the biggest hater out there today. He's horrifying. You might as well be a leftist. Some of the things that Vance and Tucker believe in. You might as well. So I like someone who is in the Trump administration currently is Doug Burgum. What's he? Secretary of the Interior. He's a billionaire, a real billionaire. Earned it all. He became the governor of North Dakota. He ran for president last time and lost. He is a smart man. He is predictable. Markets like that. He understands the United States has a bunch of assets. They could sell these assets. And the way he speaks about the value of the United States isn't in this like blood and soil nonsense, okay? And isn't in like trying to hurt other people and hurt other countries. It isn't a zero-sum game. And I hate the zero-sum game mentality. I know that the pie can, create your own pies, expand the pie, whatever. Doug Burgum is, but you hear no one talking about him. And so I just wanted to put it out there. The man should run for president again. I will fully support him. Last time around, I didn't understand him at first. And so I was joking how, I contributed $1 to his campaign, but he was paying people to contribute $1 to his campaign. You got a $20 gift certificate. It was awesome. And I got gas with he paid me $20 to give him $1. It was awesome. But no, he really is awesome. He's a good man. He's a good man. And it will be great for Bitcoin. It will be great for the United States economy. And he is not about regulations. J.D. Vance is going to regulate AI. That's horrible. That's horrible. He will. He'll do stuff. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. There should be any Doug Burgum, totally Western part of the United States mentality. North Dakota is one of the 7 states I think you guys should move to, including Utah. Pound that like button, maybe. But North Dakota is even more concerned. It could be better than Utah in some ways. But obviously, Burgum is no longer governor of Utah. I don't even know. Burgum is no longer governor of North Dakota, but he did a great job over there. I don't even know who governor is there now. Interesting place that I have been there on the ground. Like most of you have not. So. Okay, we talked about Ethereum having all-time highs is good for Bitcoin. I actually started to think about what would happen if there was not a Luke fork on Bitcoin, but one where a tremendously wealthy entity or a bunch of those Bitcoin holding companies and BlackRock or whoever you want to, one of those banks, but it just did something like that and forked. People would worry people a lot more than, fully prepare for it to happen one day. I really think there will be some kind of KYC type of fork by some giant entity out there one day that realizes that they can make their own Bitcoin. I don't know if they even realize that yet. But we talk about these stable coins, being on Ethereum and Solana and whatever, and Tether and USDC, which are great, which are really awesome, that just help the United States dollar. But Bitcoin is also on some of these other chains. And one would have to wonder if some of these if that could play a major role, if whatever is considered truly wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, which one they choose. So that's a very interesting thought experiment I was thinking about. Speaking of thought experiments and Tucker Carlson, well, he doesn't really think very much, but here's a little something for you. Because I'm a unique beast. I'm bringing you things you don't even think of when I'm talking about that wrap BTC on Ethereum. And yeah, own the underlying. You don't have to play with wrap BTC on Ethereum, but I can see why some people like to. Own Bitcoin. But this Zorhan creature, who is going to be the communist anti-Semitic mayor of New York, I predict. A lot of you are like, well, he's Tucker is the opposite of him. No, they're very similar. They have something very much in common. Their populism and their evil populism, which is scapegoating, and it comes back to the 1%ers, those neocons, which is who they're talking about. But no, I predict before 2028. I tweeted about this today. He'll appear on Tucker's show. And Tucker will be so nice to him, just like he was to that Fuentes horrifying character. It's sickening. It's sickening. This has become mainstream. But whatever, I could deal with it. I mean, we knew this day would come one day when anti-Semitism would just be like, oh yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong with having Nazis on the show? They're just different. They just have different opinions. What's wrong? What's wrong with a Nazi? They're just they don't really mean what they say. No, that's right. There's some people today that like, I can't understand why people are making such a big deal about Tucker, like Tucker Carlson, the guy with a huge platform, having a Nazi on his show, having Nick Fuentes on his show. What's the big deal? What's just you just want to censor the guy? You want to no, Nick Fuentes is not being censored. He's on plenty of he's very famous. I just think it's ridiculous that this guy, and Tucker could do whatever he wants to on his show, but I'm going to say it's completely ridiculous that you treat him like he's your buddy, and he is his buddy. They're buddies. That you don't ask him any tough questions, or it's insane. And people are like, "Oh, you're being so critical if you think Tucker should be critical of a Nazi." No, why? I think that's like common sense there. He was very difficult on Ted Cruz, Tucker, because Tucker is showing what he is. Whatever, and so that's another reason not to like JD Vance. JD Vance employs Tucker's son. He employs Tucker Carlson's son. You think they're not friends? You think they don't share some things in common? This, saving our small towns. And who is destroying our small towns? All those rich bankers. Those Zionists. We don't know what Zionism means, but we'll just blame it all on the Zionists, or because we use it as a code word for who. All right, so now let's see, what else do we have here? And by the way, the more crybaby, self-haters that we have in the United States, like Tucker Carlson, who can just complain about how horrible it is here now, how great Russia is, but how horrible. That shows you how free your country is, okay? There's nothing more Western than hatred of the West. Think about that. I got that from some podcasts. I forgot where. It's a great thing. You are truly a Western country, a truly free country, if a big chunk of your country can just cry and scream, be crybabies, and say how horrible the West is. And we have openly communist. Zorhan is openly communist Marxist. I mean, yeah, Marxist is you want the revolution. Yeah, he wants the revolution. Revolutions are violent, by the way. They're horrifying. They are just evil things. People just throw around the word revolution. But it just shows you how free our country, because we just let all these, we don't imprison people like Tucker, or imprison people like, they make it out to like, they make it out to be like, yeah, that they're being imprisoned. Nick Fuentes isn't being imprisoned. No, they say horrible things. They're not being, that just shows you how awesome and happy we should be to live in this great country. And by the way, In Israel, you get to criticize, you get to call for the end of the state of Israel in the Knesset. There are Arab parties that, they have Arab guys in the official parties that call for the destruction of the state of Israel. The only party that the state of Israel has ever, I think it's the only one they've ever made illegal, is the Kahanist party, is Rabbi Kahana, who's it was an American citizen. They said he was a fascist, so they didn't let him say, and he predicted everything that happened. He says that we should try to move these people away from us. They're going to try to kill us. That's what he was saying, but he couldn't say that, so they kicked him out. But now, some of the people that he wanted to kick out. Now, I'm not saying to kick people out of the current non-Judea Samaria part of Israel. I'm not saying to do that, but with these people, these Arab parties, they call for the end of the state of Israel, and they're not kicked out at all. But his party. So again, for all the people that talk about this Jewish supremacy is a Jewish state, they kicked out a Jewish party. It was in 1984, 1986, whenever it was. And people don't know about this. So, all right, you got a little side story there. But again, it's great that we have crybabies in the United States of America, because it reminds us what a great country this is. And they can go move to Syria or whatever they want to go, Russia, or whatever countries they lie that they hype up and stuff. Hey, and also in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, what would happen if you spoke against the government? What would happen? There's all these rich, I love the Silicon Valley billionaires. I love them. I like Peter Diamandis a lot, but I have no respect for them going to Saudi Arabia. They are just regime washing. They make it look like it's a legitimate regime. And Saudi Arabia has great events there. I would understand why a tech person would, but you got to have some cojones. You got to stand against this. Because what do they do to people who speak against their country, against the regime? What would happen if you did that in Qatar? What would you in Qatar if you spoke against the regime? If you had a protest on the street against the Qatari government, which is they're even worse than Saudi because they pretend to be America's friends, and then they fund terrorism. They legitimately follow. That's just terrible. But again, we can ignore we're in America. Let's be happy we're in America and not in a horrible 130 degree desert somewhere. All right. Now, by the way, it's funny how for almost 10 years, I've been saying, on my shows, because I've only had the shows. Well, no, I've had the shows for longer. But whatever, I don't know how long I've been screaming buy and hold. Let's just say 10 years. I've been screaming buy and hold at the beginning of my shows. Okay. And now huge there are big corporations out there have made it their business model. That's all they do. That's all MicroStrategy does is they just hold Bitcoin. It's not luck, baby. I'm an innovator while the others thought I was being boring. And yeah, for those of you who are trying to blame stuff on the, what are they? The not the Gen Xers. What's the, why can't I even, the boomers. Okay. I don't like what certain boomers have done, but I'm not about generational warfare. There's so many people that are like, everything is the boomers' fault. Everything's the boomers' fault. That's just like saying everything is the Zionist fault. I mean, come on, dudes. I'm not into class warfare like Zohar Hamdani. And yeah, JD Vance is in the class warfare, man. That's terrible. Tucker Carlson, clearly, we're against the elites. Who are the mysterious elites? I am, obviously. I mean, it's so disgusting. It all comes back to now. Speaking of Zionist, Yaron Brook, who again he has TDS, but he's great on Israel. He's great on what capitalism is, and something that he said is, any management of the economy is mismanagement of the economy. That was really good. There should not be any central planner out there. There shouldn't be a Fed. There shouldn't be Trump trying to do tariffs randomly. There shouldn't be Vance trying to get back at the elites. Okay. Any management of the economy is mismanagement of the economy. So before we end the show with a recommendation, I just want to make sure that I covered everything and that anyone, if you had any questions, good to see you, says BTC Moon Guy. Well, good to see you too. Yeah, that's my frontal. That's full frontal Meister. We're gonna, all right, yeah, whatever. All right. What else do we have? Questions? Okay, yeah. Someone tells some lies about the Talmud. Do you know how big the Talmud are? Yeah, they're. Yes, the Talmud is like full, an entire bookshelf. I mean, a bookcase. Five. They said you can go. You've read the entire Talmud. Like these people who give these out of context quotes are just made up quotes from the Talmud. And most Jewish people are secular, by the way, and couldn't even identify what a Talmud is. They can't even explain what it is. It's commentary on the law. It's a bunch of old Jewish guys from a long time ago just talking about random stuff, doing jokes sometimes, trying to explain why things are the way they are. It's a very interesting set of books, okay? But it's like 60 volumes. I mean, it's a whole bookcase, five rows of them, okay? It's crazy, man. 5 shelves of them is what I'm looking for. Let's see. Because people did not, to get my attention, you got to do Bitcoin Meister. And if you had a question, so I don't know if anyone has, whoa, man, this guy, man, whoa, he is bringing in, he's saying I'm gaslighting the Goyim. Yes, I'm gaslighting the Goyim. It's very, the Talmud is this horrible, terrible thing. All right, very, very nice. When are you going to come to the SF conference? What's that, San Francisco? Am I going to go to San Francisco? I'd like to go to San Francisco again. I'll visit San Francisco again in my life, God Almighty. Hopefully, dear God, God willing. I'm thinking since there's less volatility now, Larry Fink and Wall Street would not like it if their AUM fees went down drastically. They'll play their games to maximize profits. There's only so much market manipulation that a person can. We try to. I'm not going for the let the bankers do what they're going to do. The big guys. I don't think they cause that much trouble. They actually bring good stuff to. I like bankers. I think they bring. I don't like to scapegoat them when it comes to Bitcoin. I'm not saying they're the perfect handlers of Bitcoin or whatever, but I'd rather them be here than not be here. And the UK Bitcoin Masters in the house. France recently approved. So yeah, go to his channel too. After this, France has recently approved a new wealth tax. Yeah, that's horrible. All wealth taxes are just complete theft. All right, and so we're gonna end with. We talked a little bit about politics today. It's so funny the way I looking at this side. This also, but I have to look at this monitor. I'm reading this monitor, so my crooked nose even looks more crooked. Oh God, look at that hair, baby. All right, but let's see. Okay, yeah, Chunkadunk agrees that he does like that Wall Street is buying Bitcoin. Yeah, I'd rather than be buying than not be here. Yes, I said that. Buying over crying. Wall Street does better than the haters out there. All these haters are like, oh, Bitcoin's so horrible. They cry, they make up lies about it. They say it's, they're like Whitney Webb or whatever. She's a crier, not a buyer, baby. And I got to talk about one of her old videos in a while. Do a follow up on that. Okay, finally, we talked politics a little bit today, and so I'll leave you with a guy that I think covers things in a really good way. He leans a little bit more toward the right, but he has a bunch of people on the left on. And his name is Mark Halperin. I linked to him below. Watch him. I watch him a lot. He's good for it's unbiased. It's unbiased, and he's covering the California governor election already, which is a very interesting one. It means a lot. It'd be great if California became a less socialist. It's the biggest state. It's really is the most important state in the United States of America. It's the 5th biggest economy in the world. So he's already covering. He does a really good job of covering that. He's already, the British Republican, the guy with the British accent is a Republican, is doing pretty well. Oh, but I support the guy I support in California, who hasn't said he's going to run yet, but I hope is the guy who ran for mayor. I can't even think of his name. Who saved? He owns what is his darn name? He ran as a Democrat against Sharon Bass and lost. Maybe over on who knows what. He's really a Republican. Rick Caruso. Rick Caruso is awesome. He should be governor of California. he should be the governor. Again, this is a businessman. Is he's in motion. He does stuff. So you guys be in motion. Retweet this on Twitter. I gave you some takes that I don't think you heard anywhere else. Is there any other questions? No, there are not. So I'm going to I'll be speaking at University of Utah tomorrow, and I'll be at the Salt Lake City Bitcoin meetup today. Everyone, have a great day. I won't see you on Friday. So remember, we used to have This Week in Bitcoin every Friday. That was fun. Shabbat Shalom, I always say at the end. So I'll say Shabbat Shalom. There's always something I'll think of after the show. I feel like I have more to say, but 35 minutes is pretty good for you guys. Spread the word, dudes. Bye-bye. Thanks. Pound it.